goodness.
The one of one is missing.
I knew something was up.
Pop, that's almost twice as much going for the same price.
I just freaking love that rated rookie logo.
Doing more buying.
Which one of these 5 quarterbacks has the worst set of pass catchers to throw the football to?
Guess how much I sniped this for an auction?
Number to 5, you dirty animal.
I'm telling you, these optic on-card autos are money.
So doing the sports media thing for so long, it is rare for an absolutely massive story to break less than 24 hours, especially if you're doing a day show like we do. But no matter when you are listening to this, we want your opinion on the breaking news with the NFLPA severing its relationship effective immediately with Panini. And I'm going to go to you, Andy, right off the jump here. I want everyone to give us your full response in the comments section. If you're listening to this on podcast or whatever, let us know via social media. Andy, your initial thoughts as someone who consumes more football content and more football card content than anyone else.
Yeah, initially I was really shooken up. No kidding. I mean, it really kind of shook me to my core and made me think about the fabric of football cards as we know it and like what the future of football cards was going to look like. And I immediately started thinking about my rookie ticket autos, like what's going to happen with contenders and all this stuff. And so I started analyzing, thinking about it more critically after the initial shock of the news and, started asking myself, well, there's 2 licenses in the NFL. There's an NFL trademark license, and then there's the NFLPA license that could basically is an interface to players' likeness, like the name, image, likeness program in college. So then that just raised a ton of questions for me as to what exactly does this mean in terms of which players now are we going to see on cards, or what are the cards going to look like moving forward? And I think it kind of it was defused. It came back down to earth by the end of the night last night, thanks to some of our good friends around the industry. So, but at first it was, I'm not gonna lie, it was very concerning.
Yeah, so next week we'll have a sports card business expert on, our guy Adam at Heroes for Sale. He knows these people, right? What I will say is this, okay? The first thing is understanding the facts here, okay? In the NFL side of things, there is the NFL, okay? So that's the actual shield. That's the actual league. And then you have the NFLPA, which is the Players Association. Those 2 work in conjunction for collective bargaining agreements and all of that. Just for the confusion or for clarity here, like what Andy just said, there is a difference between the 2 of them, which makes this whole situation very confusing. And then from the sports card side of it, there is Panini, which has had the licenses in the 3 major sports for quite some time. But Michael Rubin and Fanatics came in and got all 3 of the licenses about a year or so ago for the PA side of things, from the MLB PA, NBA PA, NFL PA. Now, we did not get into football cards to discuss lawsuits. Andy's not a lawyer. I am not a lawyer. There's a lot of good sports card content lawyers, like a Paul Lesko out there, who really understands all this stuff. But even he right now, because we're so early and because it was a little abrupt and surprising, we're still learning about all of this, about what players will be in and what players will be out. But Andy, the big thing comes down to the cards themselves. What happens to Panini contenders? Does Fanatics come in and buy contenders? Does Fanatics come in and buy Prism or whatever? And then also, Andy, the big thing as well is the autograph aspect of this. If players that are signed with Fanatics will sign for Panini products that could be released this year.
Yeah, that's the big thing. I think from what I understand, Carter, and I got to shout out my good man, Paul Hickey, our friend Paul Hickey from Sports Card Strategy and NoOffSeason.com. From his sources close to Panini, absolutely trust his sources and Paul. I know that he is very diligent and detail-oriented. So he thinks that this is really came down to the exclusive Fanatics deal that Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, and Will Levis signed with Fanatics. And Panini looking at that, thinking that would be a massive hit to their sold sealed product volume this year without those guys in it. And it's not that those guys aren't in it, it's that their rookie autos aren't in it. The chase cards, the RPAs, the cards that high-end and collectors are after, high-end investors that go for a lot of money. And so I think from what we understand, this is just going to impact the rookie autos for those guys moving forward. They're not going to be in any of the products, so they're out. But this also opens the door for Fanatics to get other exclusive deals with athletes in the NFL. And if they do that, and from what I understand, then they'll also be out. Panini won't be able to use their rookie autos on cards, but they'll still be able to use their picture and their name and still be able to release all the cards they've already printed, still be able to continue producing the cards that they do today. And now they've got this antitrust lawsuit going on that hopefully they can resolve before 2026. Otherwise, they're going to end up losing the NFL license as well to Fanatics. And that's the big thing. So you've got Fanatics really dragging this through the mud here because Panini, they filed the antitrust, which is a lawsuit against Fanatics for trying to create a monopoly in the industry. There's some really interesting articles out there on it from legal experts that are obviously way more knowledgeable about this than Carter and I. But I read through the entire article. I read through everything that that Paul is putting out, and basically Panini's got the next few years, but this is going to cost them a ton of money. And the case is in their favor because Fanatics 100% is trying to monopolize this industry. They did it with MLB. They ended up buying Topps for $500 million. They've got the NBA licenses. So they are trying to 100% monopolize this industry. So, Panini should win their case, and maybe they can carve out if they win their case and they keep the NFL license, and most of the players don't sign exclusive deals with Fanatics, then they'll still have all that in their bread and butter for football card products.
Right. So I will say you and I are probably still going to love football cards, regardless of what actually happens. And I think a good portion of you will. It's just to what degree. We don't want this hobby that we love to get screwed up by any stretch of the imagination. And that's what our big topic is today. Obviously, it's going to get to a few comments because I know a lot of people have been waiting patiently. We wanted to get all the facts out. First, we say hi to Steve, Hector, Ryan. Let's go to Card Guy, who says it doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. Only the beginning of lawsuits and Fanatic taking over. He also says Panini has exclusive deals with 360 current players. Interesting.
Yeah, see, that's fantastic. And that's what they're going to need to get in place, because if they get those deals in place, then that should supersede, or that should prevent Fanatics from the ability to go and exclusively sign those players. So I think you're going to start seeing more and more of this, where the card companies are getting these contracts in place with specific players. And because of the licensing, because of each league having two different licenses, one for the Players Association, which is like the Players Union. You can kind of look at it like that. The players' representatives, they make sure they get, fair contracts. They get, the rules are where they need it in terms of, retirement benefits. Like, there's all kinds of stuff that the NFLPA does for the players. And this is one aspect of it. Their time signing autographs, their time going to these events, signing these autographs to be in sports card products is somehow goes through the NFLPA. So I think you are, Carter. I think you're going to start seeing more of these exclusive contracts. Seems like that's the kind of what's going to happen.
One thing I've always found very interesting, and I know a few of these quarterback prospects. I want to talk to them about this privately, obviously, but Panini does put in a lot of work to sponsor a lot of high school camps, right? Where all these elite quarterbacks go to. Panini's one of the biggest sponsors of Elite 11. So I say that because a lot of these kids, the next generation of quarterbacks, they're familiar with the brand Panini. Panini does a lot of stuff with the NFL draft, and you've seen the rated rookie, logos and stuff like that. So I know a lot of people have complaints about Panini, and I have had my fair share as well. Um, but I'm also excited about what they're going to do here, right? What I'm excited about personally, Andy, is what about the Panini products that we have now? Do the prices of, let's say, a Kaboom goes up if there's never going to be any more Kabooms potentially printed? Now, I think that would be like pretty absurd, but it could happen. What if they give up Absolute to Tops and they don't make a good Kaboom product? Will the older Kabooms or the Kabooms that are out now go up? It's a lot of different things. If we go to Mr. T, is this an opportunity to sell sealed wax at the peak spike or hold for more long-term appreciation? 2012 to 2022 Panini sealed wax. Andy, I go to you.
Yeah, I don't really think so. I think that those products are going to appreciate and depreciate based on the strength of the draft class, just like they have been currently, because ultimately it comes back to the players, right? If the players are good, people are going to pursue their cards, whether they're manufactured by Topps or Panini or Fanatics or Panini. And so I think the same things can be said about the sealed product from any given year. If you go back to before 2015, whenever Topps was in the game, and a lot of those products are popular, the Topps Chrome, the Finest, all that stuff. But at that time they were both licensed. They're two different licensed product, and so now I think what this could affect is the 2023 product and 2023, and obviously moving forward. So understanding that you're not going to get Levis, Stroud, or Young in the product, then I think that could negatively impact the sold box prices of the product. However, I still think they're a good investment. My mindset is that you still have Anthony Richardson, and I think he's the best quarterback in this draft class. And then you still have all of the skill position players and everybody else that was in this draft class. Plus, they still have the ability to get retired players, legends, and have those guys in there. And the Barry Sanders Kaboom, all those Kabooms and those rare cards of these legends are still worth a lot of money. Like, people want to collect those. So I think it's a direct impact on. So if you look at the cards that are out for Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, and Will Levis from Panini, there are a few that have rookie autos. If you look at the Panini Instant CJ Stroud rookie auto, it's also serial numbered very low, but this card sold for $1,500 raw just last week.
I'm still offended by your Anthony Richardson comment.
I feel like you get offended by that every show.
I know you're a Florida Gator. I know our guy hooked you up with the Oren hooked you up with the Anthony Richardson auto at the National. Shout out to Oren, one of our best viewers. I'm still kind of shook by that. Do not come after my short king, Bryce Young. I never thought an LSU fan would defend Bryce Young, especially when I've absolutely destroyed Tua's career on here. I am defending Bryce Young to the death. I love him so much. But still, I do think, obviously, the major story, we'll get back to that hot take a little bit later. I will say this. I believe 2020 Prism sealed wax is the gold standard now, if everything is just done, right? I get a tingling feeling anytime, Andy, I go to a card show and I see even a 2013 Prism sealed wax box, where it's not like anything. That rookie class obviously has a lot of players I like: Travis Kelce, Tyrann Mathieu, DeAndre Hopkins, but not like a lot of elite quarterbacks or anything like that. I freaking love old school sealed wax. And I think the 2020 NFL draft class will go down as one of the best draft classes ever. up there with the '04 and all of that. And especially if Prism is just going to be extinct, I think that sealed wax has the potential to go way up in the future, right? You're going to have the Prism vintage feel. It was the year of the card boom. People always remember when that product came out in December. People always remember that Joe Burrow tore his ACL right before that product, and it didn't freaking matter. I think there will always be, for collectors, uh, a connection to that product in potential. So, in particular, so Mr. T, hold on to that 2020 Prism sealed wax. Let's go to Hector here. Hector, one of our sharpest viewers. So, anyone with pending redemptions will be screwed. But I think Hector's earlier comment about 2023 Legacy going up. That's interesting because that product is already out, Andy.
Yeah, I think that's the initial pandemonium that you're seeing. It's people panicking. It's people with the uncertainty of, like, because it was so serious yesterday, effective immediate, like cease and desist order. They made it seem like the NFLPA has this power combined with Fanatics to shut Panini's distribution facilities and their manufacturing facilities down from all the cards that they've got on the assembly line right now, so, and that includes a Donruss Elite, that includes the Prism draft picks, that includes Mosaic for 2023, all these other sets that are coming out. And so the initial reaction, and I went on eBay myself, Carter, and for example, like my any 2023 instance I have, any 2023 rookie premier hollows that I have, I raise the prices of them because I'm like, if they're time capsuled, they could absolutely go up in value. And if that's the only supply, but now looking at it as more information is coming out closer to Panini, this is really only going to affect the rookie autos from Bryce, CJ, and Will there in Tennessee. So it's not as big of an impact. I think we can carry on as usual. I'm going to actually change my prices back to where I had them because, like, a couple of them were going to sell for a nice profit. So, but if you had the capability to get Bryce Young rookie cards, CJ Stroud, or Will Levis for any reasonable price that are licensed from Panini with rookie card shield and the team logos and all that stuff combined with it, then I think you probably can even pay up for these cards several $100s because they could go up. Now it's still contingent on a player breakout, Carter. I'm still convinced this all comes back to the players. And right now, CJ Stroud's looking like the only guy that may potentially have a decent rookie season. Anthony Richardson's already locked in with Panini, so I don't see a massive impact here unless Bryce Young really surprises people here during the season.
The flex toys, I'll give you my thoughts on Lamar a little bit later, but let's go to a few more of these. Annoy is concerned about card prices going up. Let's go to James here. The card market will be what it is moving forward. I'm not concerned about future products. But James says, do you believe there should be fear of our current collections crashing in value if there is a change? No, I truly, because look, a lot of Tom Brady's rookie stuff from yesteryear still goes for a lot. A lot of the legendary players from yesteryear in whichever product that they're in still goes for a lot. I am, Andy, addicted to upper deck cards from 04, 05 in that region. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. But maybe I'm wrong about that, Andy.
Yeah, I don't think so, because I think, once again, I think it comes back to the player, and there's some people like Prism, some people like obscure sets. There's some base absolute design fans out there, or base XR and stuff that they just want to collect it. So, I think it ultimately comes down to the player, and you kind of have to take every card on a case by case basis. It's there's a lot of gray area, and obviously this makes things even grayer. But so you really have to just take every card on a case-by-case basis. I do think, Carter, I'm still standing by this. You and I have talked about this before, is that 2021 Panini product and the base variation and the base silver variation from Optic and Prism and Select was overprinted. I think Panini did try and seize a market spike. They saw the market spike. The peak prices for guys like Mahomes, Josh Allen, that kind of stuff. When Mahomes was at the $12,000 base Prism PSA 10, that was in the March, a Super Bowl timeframe of 2021 from the 2020 season. So in 2021, they really tried to seize that market spike opportunity. And so they overprinted. I think they've even dialed back the print runs on those cards in 2022.
Totally agree. I sent you a message complaining about that not too long ago about 2021 silvers just being overprinted. That's my biggest gripe with just silvers and refractors in general, just the basic silver refractor, right? They're rarely numbered. So you don't know what the print run is on that card. Give me a serial numbered card all day, even though I love a good refractor. Let me say this as well, all right? Hector brought up redemptions a minute ago. I met Michael Rubin at the National. I got to talk to him for about 5 to 10 minutes. And I'm a big fan of his rise. He's a self-made man, right? He obviously had a lot of breaks and all that stuff that went his way. But still, okay? The one thing I'll say is Michael Rubin himself is a celebrity, okay? He throws the biggest parties every year. He throws an all-white party, and then he throws a Super Bowl party. So there's not a person at Panini that's like him that they respect, okay? One thing he has said in interviews, and I've listened to almost every interview this guy's done, his major problem with the sports card industry is redemptions. He has been very consistent about that in every interview. He wants to get rid of them. Now, I don't think that is attainable. I think that is very hard to do because the players, hold the power, right, Andy? They hold the power whether or not they want to sign that day or not, right? And even though they're getting paid for it, they do have more leverage, right? Because if you're a star, I think a lot of people, Andy, from the basketball side of things, are just not getting their LaMelo Ball cards or, LaMelo Ball, filled in because he finally signed them, right? If Rubin does that and he delivers on that, that would obviously be a huge step forward for collectors. Now, in particular, people that like to rip, okay? What I will also say to that, Andy, is there are situations like what Hector's bringing up right here. I think inevitably, especially with the higher end products like Flawless and National Treasures, it's inevitable that they just buy them out. I just think that would be the simplest solution forward with what you were talking about earlier, Andy, about legal fees and all that stuff. Just buy them out. Fanatics will pay top dollar for that. They gave Topps, obviously, all that money. They're ready to write a check just to get this thing over with. I do think those two brands are things that I think Fanatics will probably buy out inevitably.
Oh, yeah. And it's like, what about the rights to the Rated Rookie logo? I mean, that's got to be incredibly expensive. That's an interesting avenue. What if Panini agrees to some kind of deal with Fanatics where they're manufacturing cards for Fanatics and then Fanatics is distributing them and selling them direct from their website and their live auction platforms and stuff like that. So this is a one step closer for Fanatics to have that monopoly. The legal proceedings are going to be interesting because maybe Panini did have a monopoly before Fanatics came in for a brief period there. But I mean, Fanatics would 100% have a monopoly now. So I definitely think that a judge in federal court is going to side with it. And that's what the experts say. I'm not an expert by any means, just thinking about it logically. I think that Panini, this doesn't kick them out of the game, but this does obviously change things. And it's gonna make things interesting. Like it's not completely fluid, but there's stuff going on behind the scenes, and something big could drop tomorrow that, Fanatics buys such and such brands, or maybe they buy Panini altogether, or maybe they buy the NFL license from Panini. And then it's like, if they do that, then where does that leave Panini?
Right.
But Michael Rubin is smart, man. Getting the exclusive contracts with the GOATs like Brady and understanding how much pull he has on the NFL. It's they're good. They're sharks, man. They're sharks.
Yeah. So here are the people that I know that Fanatics has really strong relationships and or exclusive deals. Okay. And these are the A-listers. So you talked about the rookie quarterbacks a minute ago. Okay. Joe Burrow is obviously the second biggest star in the NFL right now. Um, Trevor Lawrence is someone else that Tops is really tied in with and Fanatics. Tom Brady, obviously him and Michael Rubin are very, very close. Now, there are some other high-end quarterbacks. I can say via sources that there have been attempts to get Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, that's really difficult. He's the biggest star in the NFL right now, and he's already a GOAT. But those are like the big names. Now, there's plenty of others out there that haven't, signed, but I know Micah Parsons is also tight with Fanatics. We know Will Anderson. So some players at some other positions as well. So it is very interesting. And look, these celebrities like going to these parties. They like being in Rubin Circle as much as it is vice versa. So it's very interesting. So we will move on from this topic just for a little bit. I know a lot of you want to talk about it. Now, if you super chat, obviously that money goes to Andy. We'll go straight to if you want to stay on this topic. But some of you do come here because this isn't just going to get decided in the next week. Okay. A lot of you are here to make money right now. All right. So we're going to talk about what's happening right now. So, Andy, I'm going to hold up a player. This is a player I want to talk about first here. I got a stack of Jordan Love rookie cards. I was shocked. I'd forgotten I had these. Shocked when I saw that his orange laser prism, a non-numbered, not super duper rare, but it's kind of rare, going for $50 a pop right now. Jordan Love hadn't had a start yet. I'm seeing some movement in the current football card market while everybody is distracted by everything that's going on right now.
100%. He has looked very sharp the first two preseason games. So if there's a lot of hyper relevancy driving card prices up right now. Guys that are getting significant playing time in the preseason, but also executing at a high level. Jordan Love's arm has looked really sharp. I mean, he's making great passes to Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, barely missed like a big bomb to Christian Watson. It was, I can't remember the defensive. I think it was a guy for the Bengals that ran from the middle of the field and broke up that pass. Or it was going to be like a 65-yard Christian Watson touchdown. So Jordan Love has looked really sharp. He looks like, the next coming of a great Green Bay Packers quarterback, and they have that whole quarterback lore. So yes, his card prices have gone up. They are noticeably pretty much across the board higher than Tua Tagovailoa right now, which, begs the question, is Tua the top target from the 2020 draft class? I think if you're just looking on paper, you got to say yes at this point. Now, if you compare Jordan Love to Jalen Hurts, Herbert, or Burrow, obviously there's still plenty of room for growth there.
Could you imagine, Andy, in that big brain of yours? All right, I was talking about 2020 wax a little bit earlier. What if Green Bay does the freaking unthinkable? And they go from Favre to Rodgers. And let's just say Jordan Love is like watered down Phillip Rivers. So not like an elite guy. But let's just say he's good. 2020 wax goes up. It goes up. I'm telling you, this draft class is freaking ridiculous. I like Jordan Love, Andy. And I'm going to be real with you. I normally don't love the small school quarterback who wasn't a dominant college producer. But Jordan Love looks good. He looks good. Use your own eyes, people. He can play. And am I just going crazy? Chat, please save me from myself because I kind of want to buy more Jordan Love than just this little stack right here, Andy. Am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy at all. I mean, it's the recipe for success. You know what's crazy? So it's all going to come to a head here in just under 3 weeks, Carter. The
Right.
Packers are opening their season against the Bears in Chicago. They've never opened the season against the Bears. This is a rivalry going back to the beginning of time. And this is one of the biggest rivalries of all time. So this first matchup against the Bears, everybody is going to be watching. I mean, there's going to be a huge number of people, even if it's a 1 p.m. Sunday game that's going on with another 10 to 12 games. It's opening weekend, and this matchup that is just going to be huge. It's going to be televised in a large portion of the the northern United States. So I think if Jordan Love balls out in this game against Chicago and they win, his prices are going to go up another 10 to 20%, maybe more, depending. It just depends on what we see. Now, if he starts off 2-0, 3-0, watch out, buddy. It's going to be crazy.
I really hope because Andy, you know me well. It takes a lot for me to jump on a quarterback's bandwagon. I was telling you last offseason, stay away from Tua all you can. All right. It takes a lot for me to like somebody. But man, the eye test is telling me that this guy can play some. And Derek's already roasting me in the chat. A lot of you are. Bob says Sam Howell over Jordan Love. Okay, I see that.
Yeah.
Sam Howell, obviously, that preseason game was sick. So yeah, I don't know. I can't really talk myself. No, go on, Andy.
Look at this opening schedule for the Packers. So we know they're at Bears week 1. If they can get through that matchup, they go at the Falcons week 2. And then in week 3, let's see, I believe it's a home game against your beloved Saints. So that's their opening 3-game stretch.
Manageable, man. It's not. That's obviously not brutal. I do want to bring up another player here, Andy. And this is one guy that I'm fading just a little bit, okay? And that's Brock Purdy. Okay, so Brock Purdy, I think, has a little bit of gas for a lot of different reasons, right? We are begging for some quarterback in this last class to be the guy that carries, this year's football products, if that makes sense, right? We always want at least one quarterback. Now, we'll see what Kenny Pickett does. We'll see what Sam Howell does. I know the chat loves Sam Howell. But, Andy, I am fading the 49ers this next season. This is more just a football take than a football card take. Their win total is set at 10.5. There's a lot that I don't love about this team going into next year. I wasn't on fire about their DC hire.
Wow.
I think the schedule to start the year for the 49ers isn't too bad. I looked at it this morning, but at the same time, what is it? At Steelers, let's see. The back half of their schedule is brutal. At Steelers, and who do they have?
At Rams.
At Rams,
and
okay.
Then week 3 is Giants at home.
Okay. I think they start 1-2. And I think that this team is a little overvalued going into this next year. I'm liking their under win total. And a big reason why people buy Brock Purdy cards isn't because of Brock Purdy. You are buying Brock Purdy cards because he's the quarterback of the 49ers. He's got the elite head coach. He's got the best supporting cast you can ask for in football. So he's got an elite play caller and all that stuff. But if the team doesn't win, Purdy goes down, especially with all the Purdy product that's going to be out by mid-season. So I would be very, very careful with Brock Purdy. And I know a lot of you are flaming my takes on my 49ers fade here.
Well, the thing is, he actually displayed some mobility over the weekend, and Trey Lance and Sam Darnold both stepped on their whats and over the weekend. So I think Brock Purdy's the clear starter, and I hate, I'm a big investor in Brandon Ayuk, and he's got all the talent to be a wide receiver 1 in the NFL, and he just needs the passing volume. So if I want him to succeed, I'm in the Brock Purdy camp. I'm also the 49ers defense, it still has Nick Bosa, it still has Talanoa, Tufunga, and Fred Warner, and these guys, Dre Greenlaw. So it's like, man, that defense could still be really nasty. I think this team is still going to be a contender this year. If Brock Purdy's healthy, I think this team is going to be humming. Now, the one guy I am out on, Carter, is Christian McCaffrey. I think this is your peak window to sell Christian McCaffrey because he is a situational running back. If they get up by 14 points, they're going to pull Christian McCaffrey and put him on the bench. So from a fantasy and a card standpoint, I only see Christian McCaffrey getting older, and to ultimately win the Super Bowl is very difficult. But I think the 49ers make another good run. I'm predicting the Eagles to win this whole thing this year and go back to the big game. Okay. So the 49ers to get there is going to be difficult, but I think they make a good run.
I love it. That's a good thing. Andy and I don't agree on everything. We don't. That's a beauty of it. I know a lot of you disagree with some of my takes. Hector wants to chat some Aiden O'Connell here. Andy, this is one of those weird situations with a rookie who doesn't have a lot of draft capital, so it's kind of hard to find O'Connell products. So if you have some, it now might be the time to move the Mustachio Man.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's got a stash, man. Him and Gardner have been hanging out using the same barber. But Aiden O'Connell's interesting because he's totally immobile, right? He's a pure pocket passer. He ran like a 5.0 40-yard dash on his pro day. He's got the same 3-cone speed as Carter. It's Aiden O'Connell is a guy that is all arm strength, arm accuracy, and that could go very well. Right now, it's going very well, but he's playing against mostly second string defenders. This is the thing. When he gets into a regular season game against a starting NFL defense, some of these defenses he's going to play are nasty. Let's look at the Chargers, right? They're in the AFC West. The Chargers defensive line with Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa healthy gets pressure on QBs so fast. Aiden O'Connell is going to be roasted. And then you combine that with some good players in the secondary. Aiden O'Connell's it's going to be tough. So he's a guy that I would 100% try and take profits on now, maybe only to buy back in, hoping that Jimmy G is healthy the entire season. But he's a guy I'm definitely taking profits on now.
Yeah, I don't think he's good. I think obviously he's tearing it up in the preseason. You got to remember though, he's in the AFC West. So let's just say he becomes a Raiders guy. He immediately becomes the third best quarterback in that division at best, right? He's not mobile, and something else is he was not good at Purdue. Okay, he was okay. I'll put it at that. I just don't really see it, but I would definitely take profits on it. There might be some people that mistake it for a Derek Carr card because they both wear that Raiders number 4 uniform. So there you go. Now, we welcome a lot of our new viewers. We always want to welcome new viewers here. We say hi to Gav Sports, Cedric Tillman, skill position guy, out of 10 optic auto jersey number. So I'm guessing this is a college uni Cedric Tillman card. Send me a photo, Gav. I'm on social media at Card of the Power. I like Cedric Tillman a lot. I was very bullish on that whole Tennessee offense last year. I would sell it. I would tell it right now. He's got some steam off this preseason, and I doubt he plays a whole lot. I mean, he's at best a wide receiver 3 at this point, and that's at best. I still think DPJ is that guy, and I still think Njoku is number 3 in targets on that team this next year. So, there you go. Oh, look at that, man.
Yeah, beautiful card. Beautiful card here. It is from Panini Chronicles draft picks, but you get that rated rookie logo, license, college uniform.
Sheesh. I need to get my
250.
Yeah, I need to go to my Walmart and get some Chronicles. Man, I gotta rip some of this, man. I'm a college uni sucker. I don't normally share my pickups on here, Andy, but I do want to share. Put me on full screen real quick. I am buying KJ Jefferson and I am buying LSU cards. So because we went to the national, I kind of like the national thing on there. Our guy Derek bought some pretty big national cards as well. So there you go. Look at Mason Smith. So there you go. So you can take me off full screen now because I'm ugly. I love college uniform cards. I'm a stickler for it. Let's go to Mr. T with the super chat. We appreciate it. All the money goes to Andy. How about a weekly game preview prediction to help with my sportsbook performance? Okay. It's where it gets a little dangerous. All right. The hard part about doing something like that is people get mad if you're wrong. And we're not sportsbook touts, okay? Now, we do plays of the week in terms of football cards. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. But, Andy, I don't think I'm comfortable enough giving, like, especially NFL sports plays because it's the hardest book to win against. But maybe you're comfortable. Maybe you're the sharp. Maybe you're Steve Fezzik.
No, I don't even have access to sports books in Florida. I'll be down and give you advice on your pick'ems, but this is not the highest EV play here.
Right.
What I'm best at is giving football card advice, so I can definitely do weekly game preview predictions to help you with your sports card collection and your sports card investment portfolio. And your fantasy football roster, your pick'ems, if you want to get in some pick'ems on underdog. But yeah, because there's a totally different animal trying to pinpoint the best lines from the different sports books. And a lot of it is just finding the best lines and having all these sports books at your disposal. And then like they change. And I mean, I know guys that do that for a living, like full time. Like go to oneweekseason.com. They have like a team of guys that do this for a living, and somebody like them would be who you want to go to for that.
Right. Okay. So to make matters worse for Mr. T here, because we're not, super sharp here, we do have breaking news that JSN did have a little wrist situation. Very interesting. Doesn't seem like it's serious. He looks like he could be back. But yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. T. I hate that we're the one breaking this news to you. But I will say,
yeah,
Mr. T, if you want to send me the pics on Discord, I will happily give you my advice. But I am not Sharp Clark or anyone like that. So there you go. I did give my over-under play of under 10.5 for the 49ers earlier today. So you'll probably like that, Mr. T.
Derek says his best betting advice he can give you is don't bet. You won't beat the house.
You won't. You can try as hard as you can. I am struggling with this, Andy. Now, I know this isn't like football card related, but it's college football related. So last year on my SEC channel, I gave out 7 over-unders, win totals, and all 7 of them hit. All 7 of them. The win total market is so freaking difficult, and I got all 7 correct. I've never been more nervous because now there are people that have been asking me for my over-under SEC picks. It's hard for me to tell them that was lucky. No, you're never going to run that hot. You're going to cool off eventually. But Mr. T, I will happily do my best. Card Vibe with the Tim Duncan Gold Prism. I was a professional sports bettor for a decade. He quit during the pandemic. Pros really don't bet on preseason. I actually disagree with that. I've seen a lot of pros say the preseason market is where the money was. A lot of my favorite gambling experts bet on preseason. But
did you think Deuce Vaughn was going to break out in the preseason and be the biggest winner in card values in the entire preseason?
I didn't. And the metrics all look good on him outside of his actual size. But he looks really good. He does. And I'm excited. I always cheer for short kings, and he is small, but gosh darn it, he was dominant. And you should never bet against a small running back from Kansas State. Can you, Andy? I want to do trivia with you every week, college football trivia. Can you name the last small running back from Kansas State that was a stud in the NFL? Stud. And he was also tiny.
Oh, man. Well, I'm going to guess and say Darren Sproles.
Look at you. Look at you. Look at you. Look at you, man.
Whew, man.
New Orleans Saints legend, Darren freaking Sproles. All right, so we do have a hard out at 2. Hobby tip of the week, Andy. You had to deal with a cursing tirade from your boy earlier today. You called me, and I had just gotten my KJ Jefferson cards in the mail. I was really freaking excited. And what do I get, Andy? What do I get? Tell the people what I got.
Scotch tape bandit. God bless.
Do not Scotch tape the top of your top loaders. Painter's tape always. Or what you could do is put it in a team bag, especially if it's higher in. This one, like very expensive card, so I'm not being a team bag stickler, but put freaking painter's tape on top of the freaking top loader. Don't put Scotch tape, please don't. All right, that obviously is something a lot of you already know, but if you are a first timer and you need help on how to ship cards, please hit us up. Now, Andy, happy tip of the week for you.
Yeah, so I like to usually put my hobby tip around new product, and we still have Elite. So Elite is dropping in like 7-8 days, and we also have Prism Draft Picks that is supposed to be dropping on August 30th, and that has the new logo that I know you weren't here last week, but maybe you were able to tune into the stream and see that rated prospect logo that's going to be on these cards for the 2024 draft class. So my hobby tip of the week is don't forget about, future prospecting being available, but also understand, this goes back to the hyper relevancy factor. The guys that are on the highlights the most are getting the most demand. So the guys that aren't in the highlights are all capable of being sniped. And that's what I'm going to say.
What if college football does get bigger? Right? It's big now. But what if it does become a little bit more national? Okay, it's regional. Andy, you and I are in the Southeast, so we're locked in. You're a Gators guy. I'm an LSU guy. SEC football is how I make a living. But it's regional. We have a ton of viewers in the Northeast. Vescovi, all those guys. College football doesn't exist up there hardly at all. West Coast is a big reason why all this realignment crap is happening now. They have declined in football viewership. But what if all the realignment stuff like that, what if it does turn it into a more national product and it does somehow become more popular? College cards could go up. I'm just saying. I love college cards. I prefer them over pro uniform cards for the most part. So I know I'm in the minority there, but just don't just shun cards just because they're college cards, right? Like, for instance, I would prefer to have a Joe Burrow rare LSU uniform card over like a rookie silver Joe Burrow, even though the rookie silver Joe Burrow probably goes for more than a number to 99 or number to 50, whatever LSU card. Give me that one, right? For the long term. Give me that one. I know that sounds crazy, but it's just true. I believe that. But yeah, Andy, we'll get to a few more comments before we get out of here. Feel free to fly them in. We've had a very fun show. How many people do we have in here? 40. There you go. That's good, man. Card Vibe wants to know if you're going to the show this weekend, Andy, in Tampa.
Man, I'd love to. I don't think I'll be there though this week, and I got a lot going on here at the house. I was actually working on putting new flooring in, and I got a lot. I'll tell you, this is another hobby tip right now. So I'm listing cards every day, Carter. eBay 100% rewards you for being a daily poster. I'm going to remind people that I'm telling you, it gives a significant boost to the visibility of your cards, and you will sell more cards. If you're struggling, go back and revisit your store. Check your prices. Check to make sure that you've got the item descriptors that they want. There's a new condition item descriptor under each listing about the condition. Used to, you could just automatically have it automatically say excellent condition, and it was different. It wasn't a manual thing. Now they have graded or ungraded, and then it prompts a new field, and you have to pick. And so you need to go back to your old listings and recheck them and relist them and put up new listings on a daily basis, even if it's one card.
I love it. I've noticed that as well. I didn't expect it, but the more 99-cent letter rides I do, the more eBay is rewarding my views. I swear, it's not even the most liquid cards. I've seen it go up. I have. But yeah, now, play of the week, Andy. I'm going to give you one. Let's just say JSN is seriously hurt. All right. Let's just say this goes on. Let's just say it's kind of like a Traylon Burks season. Buy him. Okay. Don't overthink this. This guy is going to be a very good football player. Okay. I am going to pay attention to see he did get a lot of hype. He did have that absolutely massive catch versus the Cowboys in a preseason game. He's freaking good. So if there is any kind of dip, once again, his stuff is trickling out. Obviously, he's a rookie in this class. I think he's really good. I do. Andy, your play of the week.
My play of the week is the one guy from the team, and this is a stack play. It's Daniel Jones with the New York Giants. If there's a team that I think that could have a hot start that people are overlooking, and I have seen more high-end transactions. Like I looked at a couple $1,000 plus transactions on Daniel Jones. I looked at one where it was I believe it was a National Treasures out of 99 that went for 500 back on August 1st, and just Sunday it went for 1,500. And so I am seeing appreciation in Daniel Jones cards. However, when I compare him to Kyler Murray, he's just like eclipsing the current Kyler Murray values, which are at the floor of Kyler Murray. So then I can see the upside in those cards. I mean, there's still guys like Debo and DK Metcalf that have some cards that are at the same level or close to it of Daniel Jones. And obviously there's a lot of upside in Daniel Jones' prices, and this could be the career year for him. You know, easily eclipsing last year because they add Paris Campbell, they draft Jalen Hyatt, and they get Darren Waller. And this offense looks really good. And if you look at their schedule, they're opening up against the Cowboys. So it's a tough matchup, but it's definitely a winnable one. It's a divisional matchup. But then you look at week 2 for them. Just had it up here, Carter.
Now go on.
Cardinals at the Cardinals in week 2. So very easy matchup on paper for week 2. And then week 3, where'd they go?
So smooth,
dude. I'm terrible. I'm terrible whenever you lose your spot on the sheet.
You're as smooth as Daniel Jones running in the open field
right.
versus the Eagles.
So smooth. Well, I want to give the specific information on who they're playing. If I could just, I thought it was a home game, but
okay,
it's just probably right in front of my face, and I'm not seeing it. I'm gonna have to share my screen because this is taking me terribly long. But the whole point I'm trying to make is the beginning 3 to 4 weeks of their schedule is completely winnable. And they could be the early guys to be 3-0 out of the gate, and Daniel Jones be the front runner for MVP. There is a pathway for that to happen. And if that does happen, then he's taking Darren Waller along with him. Saquon probably could go up a little bit. And Jalen Hyatt, he's already at a premium, but there's potential that he could go up even more. But if you look at Jalen Hyatt, his base score rookie auto is a $25 card. That could easily, I mean, that's like the base for that card is $10, but it still could climb a little bit more based on how good his start to the season is.
Right. I will tell you this. Daniel Jones is probably going to be my most drafted quarterback on Underdog. By the way, use promo code Quest, use promo code Carter in the link down below. Sign up now for your deposit match bonus. I love Danny Dimes going into this next season with Brian Dable. Now, I wouldn't like him if he didn't have Brian Dable as his coach. My hottest take was when Brian Dable left. I thought the Bills should have fired McDermott and kept Dable. That was one of my hottest takes. Brian Dable looks like him. He looks like he is the next freaking Shanahan. This guy is making water into wine with some of these pieces. Paris Campbell was also someone that, I've given a few plays of the week out. His cards are going for $1 on some of his rookie autos. I think any of these Giants guys can break out in what Dable's going to do offensively this next year. Defensively, I do worry about the Giants, but I mean, they got Dexter freaking Lawrence. He's arguably the best DT in the NFL now that, Aaron Donald's a little over the hill. Still, it's very interesting. There you go. Billy T, you've been very active in the comment section. He asked me a difficult question here. My favorite LSU player of all time. Oh, man. Billy, I can't do that. I can't give you just one, man. When you talk about this team every single day, I can't just give you one. But I give you one who I do like a lot, and that's Jamar freaking Chase. All right. Everyone's going to say Joe Burrow, but I'll give you Jamar Chase. Why not? But really, it's Tyrann Mathieu. That's who I PC for the most part. And I'm also PC and Mason Smith and current LSU guys. So if you have Jaden Daniels cards, hit me up. Andy, I'm going to let you pick the last few comments before we have to get out of here.
Yeah, guys, really appreciate everybody tuning in today and all your support on the quest. Let's see. Yeah, Waller is looking really great again. What did Bob say? Giants can go 2-0, then the next four are rough. 49ers, Hawks, Miami, Bills. Yeah, they're rough, but the hot start is what you want at the beginning of the season. I mean, because he's already appreciated throughout the preseason. He's looked really sharp. This past weekend when he was in there with the starting offense, I mean, they looked laser sharp. Daniel Jones looked very good. So you just want that hype is going to continue into week one. They win week one. That's going to continue into week two. And it's like a snowball effect. Those first few weeks could lead to quite the appreciation in a lot of stuff. And he's going to bring someone along with him. So, Waller may be the safest bet just because of how cheap his cards are, but he's got to do more on the field than Hyatt does. Hyatt with a limited supply and being a rookie at the wide receiver position, Hyatt puts up 1 or 2 touchdowns, dusts the defender's ankles. His cards are going to go up at a higher rate than if Darren Waller did that, Yeah,
Darren Waller's a weird collect, right? Because he's iconically known for his Raiders breakout, and he was a Ravens rookie, number 12 as well. It's kind of a weird collection from a rookie card standpoint. And then it gets into how many Giants cards want a Ravens. How many Giants fans would want a Ravens Darren Waller rookie card? I don't know. You tell me. Huh? So there you go. Yeah, Andy, it's yours. The floor is yours, man. If you want to take one more, we can. If not, we'll sign it off, baby.
Yeah, let's go ahead and sign off here, Carter. But if you guys, you guys are looking for more content, we just put out an exclusive video last night for my top targets, but not just the top targets for weeks 1, 2, and 3, kind of analyze the schedule, but also a deep dive into the listings available this week. And so check everything out we got going on there. We just made some big updates to the Keep 'em web app and all kinds of stuff. So. And I appreciate all you guys tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like button. We want to hear from you guys in the comments as well. What's your take on this whole Fanatics versus Panini thing? What's your favorite player from the preseason that you're targeting? And we'll see you next time.
I see Mike Kafka's brother is a what is that what's his name said? Let's see. Ryan said Mike Kafka's brother is a fan of the or no, he knows Mike Kafka's brother. Well, if Mike Kafka wants to come on the show, let him know. We're welcome. All right, y'all. We'll see you next week. Peace out.
Peace.
Waiting for us on. So the 9 that we're waiting on here. Let me